What is going on, YouTube? This is iCarly. I'm Carly, and this is Sam.
What's going on, everybody? Indeed. Now, what's the deal? This is we're coming at you, Chris, now for this recap with UFC Columbus,
All right.
and it was a pretty decent card. A lot of interesting fights, some boring ones, stupid cancellations, whatnot. But we analyzed everything. Let's just go and check out everything. So. Let's start off with that first fight of the night, which was Luis Saldana and Bruno Souza.
We called it.
Yeah.
We had that one correct.
Yeah, we all were locked on that one. And by the way, Ben is not with us right now. He's busy, but yeah. So for that first fight, that Luis Saldana fight, um, Luis had a really strong round. A lot of backing up, not backing up, but just side to side movement, just trying to maintain the range. Bruno was hawking him down a lot. I'm gonna be honest. That first round was good for Luis. Got some takedowns. Really was putting in work, but then he really started to get tired. Like you could see it right after that first round. I could see he was tired, so came a little bit less more active. Bruno Souza was still had his wind about him and was pressing the fight. Was clipping him with a few good shots. And yeah, and in my personal opinion, I know a lot of people might think it's a robbery that Lewis came out with the win. I think it was a close fight. Um, Bruno was the more aggressive fighter and really pushing the pace in those last second rounds. Um,
At the end of the day, it could have been a robbery, but it's a robbery we predicted. It doesn't matter. It came from our mouth.
Realistically, I could have seen it really going to a draw. I don't really think that Bruno Souza won the fight because he didn't have any crazy spectacular moments. And Lewis was actually kicking up at the end. And even though he was showing he was tired, he had a nice little couple flurries in the end of that third round that I think pretty much swayed the judges in his favor. But yeah, overall, I do believe it should have been a draw, but we got Luis Saldana. We predicted him, and that's what happened. Let's move on. We have Matuas Nicolau and David Dvorak. Um, this is the first fight that we were split on. I mean,
I went with
Chris and
David.
Ben, they both went with David. I did go with Matuas. Now, what did you think about that fight?
I think I actually let me see, because I think I actually missed that fight. These two, and then I started in the fourth fight because I was out for my
Well,
anniversary.
yeah, we'll put it this way.
Dang, it was Underdog Central.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the
Yeah.
first two underdogs of the night were predicted by me. They should have went with Matuas. I told him, but yeah, really boring first round. I mean, they didn't land a punch until I think it was 3 minutes. They didn't throw a punch until like 3 minutes into the fight, right? Crowd was not really having it. Um, I don't know why that happened. You had the number seventh ranked fighter versus the number 10 ranked fighter, and that was pretty disappointing. But once that second round, they started turning on a little bit more. It started to get become a much more interesting fight. Um, David Dvorak was really putting in the pressure. He was really trying to show. I think he might have been a little bit nervous, bumping up this high rank like that. Not really fighting great competition, and he's bumping up, well, in ranking to fight Matuas Nicolau. So I think there was some feeling out process. I think it's more on Dvorak's side. I think Matuas, that was just a part of his game plan because if you watch throughout the whole fight, he pretty much maintained that status even after he was lighting up Dvorak. Um, yeah, but when that second round started going, they started really getting to more heated exchanges, more close contact, close combat exchanges, and you can immediately see that Nikolai was much faster than him. And then he started to touch him up a little bit, and then when he started landing some really serious power shots, you could see the damage on Dvorak's face. His whole face changed too, as expression wise. He looked pretty befuddled. He was like, "Whoa, wait a minute." So then he started to slow down, not as far as the win, but he was just like, all right, let me just analyze this a little bit more. And then Nikolai started to really, he would bait him into to his counterattacks, which was just perfect game plan. Ended up dropping him big time in that second round. Looked like he could have pretty much knocked him out. Um, it was that bad, and but ended up on top and just grinding him out for that rest of that round. When Dvorak got up, I immediately, immediately I was able to tell that he was broken. And yeah, that's pretty much how the fight went off from there. In that third round, like I said, Matua still stayed with his game plan, wasn't getting too excited. Really was trying to initiate the wrestling a little bit more. They had a nice little you know, BJJ scramble at the last minute. Dvorak did end up on top. Didn't really do much with it. He was already broken by that point. And Matus came out with the win. So that was yeah. I did go. I picked Matus. Chris picked Dvorak, and Ben picked Dvorak. So that's 2-0 for me so far, huh? Yeah, but let's move up. Then we had the Manon Furio fight and Jennifer Maya.
Like I guess it just went the distance.
Yeah,
That's what I bet on.
went the distance. But this fight, Jennifer Maya performed well, I would say. Was getting outstruck by far. Hit Manon with a head kick a few times that really woke her up. Not really too much to see about this fight. Jennifer Maya did break that 100% takedown defense from Manon. But the fight went as all of us predicted. If we yeah, it was just it was Manon, her striking all day. She does have good takedown defense, but she lost that 100% with Jennifer Maya. Happens when you're bumping up the rank that high, but still knew she was the up and comer. She's the real protege on her way to trying to get to Valentina. But yeah, Jennifer Maya had some good. She actually was had some good striking of her own. Those head kicks really stood out, and the grappling. She was more efficient in cage control. Even though Manon did take her down as well. Overall, a decent fight. Pretty much what I expected out of these women. Good fight. Not like the last one where it took forever to get going. But we all predicted Manon, and that's how that went. Then we go to Alishkov, Kizreev, and Dennis Salulian. This one,
This one was a beatdown. That boy, it kind of there was no time where Dennis was doing his thing other than the 1 second he had him a little woozy.
yeah,
I had Dennis for this. I don't know what I was thinking. Dennis came
yeah.
through and got his ass whooped.
Now I want to say this: Dennis was actually rocking
He
Alishkov in the
had
first
on
round
skates for a hot
for a
second.
little bit. Yeah, he was showing that we can strike, and it looked like Dennis was a little bit faster. I'm not gonna lie, he was a little bit faster than Alishkov. It only took so long for the takedowns to get incorporated, and just the ground and pound to go down, and then it ended up with that submission. I mean, second round, he did last. I don't know if did that one was that an over 1.5? Because some people might have been cashing. Yeah, so no, it was not over 1.5, but still, yeah. So that was pretty cut and dry. I mean, you had an extreme finishers, 5+ fights ending under like 50 seconds. Two Russians. Dennis Tululian is he is a solid striker, and he proved that. But overall, it was a matter of time before the real wrestling was incorporated, which was Alicia Scott's realm, and that happened from there. So yeah, me and Ben did take Alicia Scott. Chris did go with the super underdog. I mean, I don't blame him. Dennis was showing some real heart and good striking out there in the first round. But ultimately that's what happened. And then yeah. Then we move on to the crusher. Get into this one, bro. Yeah, bro.
Let us go. Oh yeah, this was just some BS. Yo, at the end of the day, I don't think he. Like this was some BS. It was really an underdog night because I had, you know, I didn't think he would, neither did the public, but I didn't think that this guy, El Guapo, was gonna pop out. I didn't know that boy. What's his name? Dana.
Tanah Bakara.
Yeah, I don't know why Dana had such a weak chin. That boy, that went down like a bag of bricks.
Now, keep granted though, he completely dominated that first round. 10-8 in my opinion. Really dominated that first round, putting the beats on him on Chris Gutierrez. But that's what you never know. You never know how these things go down. And I had a feeling Chris was gonna be a little live, but Dana had some really good recent performances that I saw live, and I like that compared to watching Chris fight. Ultimately, these things happen. That's why UFC is, well, mixed martial arts is such a great sport, and yeah, anything can happen at any time. So choose wisely. Then we move on to another split: Sarah McMahon and Carol Rosa. This was a fight. Oh, and let me just for that last fight, me, Chris, and Ben all did have Dana Baccarat, by the way, and yeah, that was the crusher. We move on to yeah, Sarah McMahon and Carol Rosa. This one, I mean, another split. Let me get this out the way. I went with Sarah McMahon. Chris and Ben went with Carol Rosa. Now, to break down this fight, let me just start out and say this right. Sarah McMahon pretty much never gave Carol Rosa a chance to even start letting it loose. Till a little flurry in the beginning of that third round, and in that second round, she was trying to come out, but the takedowns were just inevitable. She had a little takedown of her own too, but the wrestling is just too good for Sarah McMahon. And Carol Rosa, she wasn't really fighting anybody, to be honest. Like her last one was against Betch Correa, who was out the door anyway. So, and before that, Jocelyn Edwards, who was also out the door. Nessa Mills were probably better ones. So, yeah, it was pretty easy to go with the Olympic silver medalist for me. But these guys had their reasons. She was the better striker on the feet, especially in that third round when she was able to get open a little bit. She was able to really clip up Sarah. But Sarah doing what she does, getting into the ground. It must have been like 12 minutes of control time total. Nah, probably more than that. Probably like 13, almost 14 minutes of control time for the whole fight. And that's what you do when you're an Olympic silver medalist in the UFC at 41 years old. Credit to Sarah McMahon. Um, I had her on that one as well. So yeah, for the underdog. Then we move on. We move on to the start of the main card with Mark Diakase and Slava Borsha. Slava Claus. For this fight, we again all had Slava. I mean,
What a bug.
Slava, just like that last fight, this is crazy because just like the last fight with Sarah McMahon, Slava was never able to get going. The great kickboxer that he is, he was never Mark Diakase, and Mark Diakase being a striker as well. Um, Decided, this guy, I guess he might have felt like Slava was on a different level with kickboxing, which I still think he is. Went for a takedown within 10 seconds and got him down. And that was like the whole fight, just like the Sarah McMahon fight with Carol Rosa. That was the whole fight pretty much. Just Mark Casey working him from the bottom, working him from the bottom. Not really much to take off that. He ended up just losing that fight because of that by decision, just like Carol Rosa. And that's that. So he never got a chance to get going. He needs to. He's shown lackluster takedown defense before this, but he's shown that he's been able to get to his feet. For some reason, he was not able to get to his feet with Mark Casey, and that was just another little breaker. We all went with Slav on that one, so that's that. Oh, and for some reason they took off the Max Griffin fight off this card.
No, is it right there?
Where is it? Oh yeah,
Neil Magny.
yeah. Here we go. All right, so yeah.
This guy's cooked.
Nah, I'm just looking. This thing. All right, so yeah, it's because I'm looking at the green. I was hoping that it was Max Griffin. Yeah, we all had Max on this one as well, bro.
It's a close fight,
It was a close fight.
but not close
Max
enough.
Max was having a big problem with the range. Max actually dropped him. Looked like he really could have got that knockout. Um, I think it was in that first round. And yeah, Neal was still shown to be a solid striker. I mean, I think Max kept trying to close the distance, but it was just hard to keep that. Neal had that range, and he was able to chip up shots on his own. Pretty dominant win, if you ask me, for Neil Magny. Otherwise, besides the him getting dropped, and I say that because of the takeover in the last 7 minutes of the fight was really just him pressuring Max. And like I say, I think Max still won the first five, in my opinion. I mean, he won that first round, definitely. But it's what it is. That's how it goes in this UFC. And yeah, we all had Max for that Max Griffin, Max Payne.
Next fight, that boy Kai Kara France. What did I say? He's no joke. That boy, come with him with respect because he's been doing this for a while. People don't realize it, This man came and at the first, it was a close fight, but at the end of the day, Kai Kara France was swinging at this guy, had him woozy. That boy Kai Kara France is a man. Like when we say to bet on that man, you bet on him. That was the nicest underdog pick of the night. We all had that one on. Nobody else in the betting community was really putting money on him. They were all scared.
Yeah.
Everyone was sucking NASCAR, but as you see, he was exposed.
He was exposed. Yeah, man. We all picked Kai, man. I mean, how could you not pick Kai when he's at plus 350? Like, after the performances he's had against the competition he's had, it's like, come on, man. And Askar is not really. First of all, like I said, he's not. He hasn't finished anybody in his last like 5 fights. Became a decision machine and has pretty much fought, cans and just like veterans that are out the door for the most part. Not really getting no crazy wins like that in the UFC. Um, I just thought I knew about Kai's. I knew about his takedown defense. I knew he has some serious takedown defense, and he's good on the fence, working on the fence. If he is on the ground, he's not in the open. He has trouble, but he's good on the ground in the defensive position by the fence. So I knew he played it perfectly too. He would actually try to use the offense to his advantage, even though on the it's a contradiction that he showed because I mean that's where Askar supposedly succeeds. He got taken down in the first round. First round didn't really go his way. Was getting threatened with a rear naked choke, but was showing some real technical awareness and always tucking that chin, hand fighting all the way. And then when he pushed Kai after that first round, and Kai was like just laughing off, I'm like, yeah, Kai's about to really start sending off now. And what do we see? Kai stuffing takedowns, Kai battering Askar's face, making it almost giving him hematomas and stuff, making him Megamind, like another one we know. His eyes looking, you could see the fear that was building in his eyes when they got that close up of him. And when Kai started to really stuff those takedowns, I mean, it was pretty insane. And Kai got a little reversal of his own too. And I think Askar was just trying to not get finished, which he did. Um, was getting rocked, really getting rocked by some fast and strong combos by Kai. It was a completely 29 scores, 29-28, deservedly. I mean, I really thought it could have still. I mean, it's respectable because of the first round, and Askar wasn't really crazily backing off into that third. It is what it is. But Kai Car France came through. We all had him locked. Well, the dog of the night, I should say. And Yeah, look out for Kai. You know, he's definitely getting a title shot next. I mean, you got to give
He's
it to him.
already asking for the next Moreno Figueredo fight for him to be
He has to
on
get a title shot.
standby. He
Yeah,
says he'll take a short notice fight.
he wants that title, and it's gonna be him or Pantoja. So we're gonna see how that works. You know, see how they want to work that out. We all had Kai, and then we move on. We had Brian Barberena versus Matt Brown. Really awesome fight. Great fight. I mean, they were both just. I mean, you can't really take anything away. It was a split decision for a reason. I'm gonna be honest. I thought Matt should have had that fight. He incorporated a lot more takedowns. Um, he did receive damage, but he was also just technically rocking Brian. Um, had the control time. Right off the bat, I had Matt Brown. Chris and Ben both had Brian Barberena. Um, it was a good fight. Fight of the night. It was a real great fight. I mean, when I mean, it's not really to take from it. If you watch the fight, it's just them, Matt taking Brian down, getting his GMP in on the feet. They're both exchanging a lot of clinching exchanges, a lot of elbows, and and yeah, and that's pretty much the whole fight. Them beating each other's faces in bloody fight, how we like it. So I'm not really mad. I mean, I like the fight. I enjoyed the fight, but I still think match. They should have maybe a draw. We'll say a draw, yeah. And I want to point out too, me and Ben did take Alexei Olenek, the fight that got canceled. Chris didn't make a pick for that. Because of Alexei, I don't know what. I think he hit his head in the Uber or something. It was something like that. But we all know Alexei would have won. Yeah, Ezekiel choke. You know, he would have pulled it out of his arse and got it done. But let's just move on. So that we all got that straight with the Brian Barber fight. I had Matt Brown. They both had Brian. So we'll move on to the Alexa Grasso fight. This was another one I was split on because I did have JoJo,
Who did I have?
and you both had Grasso.
Yeah, dog.
So yeah, I mean, I've been a pretty decent JoJo fan. Not that that played any real part in this, but I thought JoJo would have really been able to just maintain the distance and get her takedowns and pull off what Sarah McMahon did. I honestly believe that. But this is what it is. JoJo, I mean, to get finished like that again, it's twice in a row when it's just, I mean, dang. So, yeah, I'm not gonna bet on any Joe and Wood fight again. I mean, quick finish, submission choke, or a naked choke. So we move on. Curtis Blades, Chris Daukus for the main event.
It was easy. I feel like in terms of these main events, we haven't been wrong once because it's pretty easy. I mean, he was a heavy favorite for a reason. He really blasted him. I don't think Chris Dawkins is well rounded enough to even step foot in the top four, top five. Like I think Chris Dawkins, he got exposed. Like if he takes another fight with someone, maybe who doesn't shoot and doesn't know how to properly wrestle, then maybe who knows, it may have went different. But he's definitely not beating Kai. He's definitely not beating Derek Lewis, unless he's in Houston, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a fact. I mean, yeah, man. Went just like how we thought. We all had like knockout or decision, I believe, or just by finish. I mean, after that last performance with Derek Lewis, like, dude, and you're getting taken down by Derek Lewis, like that's how I knew it was over for Chris. Unfortunately, people were just a year ago trying to compare him to Tom Aspinall. They're not the same. Nowhere near it. I think we're gonna see Chris start to get out the rankings soon. To be honest, I mean, he might be able to beat some of these older guys like in the top 15, 10 to 15 or whatnot. But yeah, he has a long way to go before he can consider some serious title. That pretty much went the way it went. So for the overall predictions, Um, I went 7-5. I had Luis Saldana. I had Matos, Manon Furio, Alicia, Dana Baccaral, Sarah McMahon, Max Griffin, Slava Borshev, Kai Car France, Matt Brown, Joanne Wood, and Curtis Blaydes. Chris went 6-6. He had Luis Saldana, David Dvorak, Manon Fiorio, Dennis Tululian, Dana Baccaral, Carol Rosa, Max Griffin, Slava Borshev, Kai Car France, Brian Barberena, Alexa Grasso, Curtis and Curtis Blades. Almost 2 weeks in a row that he went undefeated on the main card. Yeah, went 4-1 on the main card. Then for Ben, we had he had Luis Saldana, David Vorak, Manon Fiorio, Elise Schleib Dana Baccarat, Carol Rosa, Max Griffin, Slava Borshev, Kaikar France, Brian Barrena, Alexa Grasso, Curtis Blades. So another 4-1 on the main card from Ben. Now for the People's Parlays, did a little rough for this weekend for me after my 2 week winning streak, but it's all right. I had Curtis Blades to win and over 1.5. I should have really stuck with the finish or stuck with the under 4.5 or something like that. That's made more sense. But it's all right. Then I had the Matt Brown over one and Brian Barrena over 1.5 total rounds for the fight. That did hit. I had Luis Saldana as the underdog to win money line. That hit. But then I had the Slava Borshev to win it over 1.5. Um, and that was a buster. So I went 2-2 for the People's Parlay. After going 2 weeks back to back 4-0, we're gonna reset. I got you next event, promise. For Chris's parlay, he had took Curtis Blades by knockout, cash that. He had Brian Barberena money line, Kai Car France money line, but then he had Donna
If I would
Baccarat.
have went with, oh my god.
That was a plus 1,600 parlay. He went 3-1 for the People's Parlay, and that was all. That was a pretty
If
serious
it would
parlay.
have went how I thought it was gonna go, if it would have went how I needed it to go, boy, I would have had a blast. I would have had a blast. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That man
right.
should have won that fight. He just went down like a bag of bricks. What a
Should have just went with Saldana for the parlay.
That
That
would-
would have been like a plus 2,400, plus 2,500 parlay. But it's all good. We're gonna reset next week and get the event going for the next one. For Ben's People's Parlay, he had I believe it was Curtis. He had Curtis Blades by he had Curtis money line. He had Kai Car France money line. He had Luis Saldana money line, and he had no, he had Donna Bach. All right, this is parlay. He had Manon money line, Donna Baccarat money line, Kai Car France money line, and Curtis Blades money line. That was a 3-1 parlay. The crusher was Donna Baccarat. That was it's probably about like a plus 500, plus 600 parlay, I believe. Can't remember exactly, but definitely had to be that. Get him boosted next time. But yeah, that's overall the recap for that. That's what we did. Didn't do too bad. We all were at least over 500 for the most part. With some good people's parlays action. That for that dog of the night, we all taking Chris Kai Car France, me, Chris, and Ben, and putting him on. You guys should have bid on that because we put him on each one of our people's parlays. That was the lock in the night, in my opinion. I had him on all my parlays.
He was on all mine. There was
And
no
I
point
had
I
a few
thought
ones that hit. I had a few decent ones that hit. I'm not for that night. Probably about 4 parlays hit. I'm not going to show them because it wasn't this one. Still feel messed up about that 2 and 2. The people's parlays is what matters. Your guys' parlay, which is one that I put a decent amount of bread on, didn't come through. But it's all good. The other ones did last week, and we're gonna get another one coming up next event. But that is your recap for UFC Columbus.
All
Um,
right. Enjoy your day. Don't forget to like and
yeah, make
subscribe.
sure you like share this to share this to your friends that like MMA, like
Next
UFC,
next pick, I believe, is on April Fool's Day, so all my picks will be backwards.
and so all right.